Hi everyone, let's take a look. Do you ever get that feeling like we live among crowds of winners, achievers, success stories, but we don't find ourselves among them? And at the end of the day, taking out the smile at night. Like it's a part of the uniform and charging ourselves like a battery, just enough to face another round tomorrow. A new day, new show, new punches waiting. A carnival of faces under a mask of kindness and emptiness. Do you feel it too? Here's the thing about living in 2025. We keep seeking dopamine hits, and it's not about fun anymore. They're like painkillers, just enough to survive through our routines, but which are highly addictive at the end. We open our phones, scroll in the feed, follow the people we barely know, each one presenting a version of themselves polished to shine. We see the trips, people getting new jobs, people making gym selfies. They look like real trophies of modern life. They shine like a victory, but just dig a little bit deeper, and it's same story, anxiety, depth, hiding behind smiles. So step outside and we will see the people just playing a game who hides their exhaustion better. Tired faces, shoulders bent, rushing through the perfect sunny day or a thunderstorm. It probably doesn't matter to the place we once could call work. Back then, work meant something you could touch. Work left a mark. We built a house, fixed a car, grew up with food. Even the work was hard. It left something behind. A respect for the craft and a feeling of contribution. So now, for most people, it's just sitting behind screens, moving files from one folder to another, writing reports no one will ever read, making presentations for other presentations, competing over who can waste the most hours while sitting looking productive. For me especially, it doesn't look and it doesn't feel like a labor. It feels like endless imitation. Working hard, but paid less and less. It's more like, selling yourself by the hour to system that promises nothing in return except fatigue and stress. Everywhere I look, people are acting, not living, just acting. We build a world where the mask is worth more than the face, and when it cracks, we don't heal what's inside, we just buy a new mask. The life rewards performance, but punishes the silence. If no one claps, the world calls you nothing. But here's the truth, when the lights go out, when no one's watching, that's when you face yourself, raw, without filters, without excuses, at that audience, harder than any crowd. Am I right? Because life doesn't start on the stage. Life starts when you step off it. So where does that road lead? In polished lives that feels like a void. In friendship that are busy to be not deep. In work that looks important and leaves no trace in soul. In nervous system stuck on survival mode. Hearts that don't remember the rest. In a kind of quiet loneliness. And you can't post about because there is no filters for it. We connected to everyone like never before, but after we are on the path to living in some sort of, I don't even know how to describe it, individual personal boxes with Wi-Fi. We share pictures, status, likes, but not our pain, not our fears, not our real. We hear each other more often, but we listen to each other less. And kids who grow up in this world of screens, they'll know how to pause, but not how hold the silence. Smart with numbers, but lost with feelings. They will learn to look for proof of their own worth in other people's reactions, not in their own inner voice. Those children will scroll their feeds faster than their own thoughts. They will know the world is still there and still feel like no one actually near. You know, we used to believe life made us stronger. We keep running but always feel behind. We compare ourselves to everyone around and feel like we're less. At night we toss and turn because our minds don't know how to switch off. By morning we wake up already tired. And every new task isn't joy but a burden. Not I want to, only I have to. Over time, anxiety and exhaustion became the background noise. And then it becomes the norm. We start to believe it's how it's supposed to be. Always tired, always not enough, always under pressure. We grow up being told that chasing more meant living better. Bigger house, nicer car, new phone every year. But it turns out the promise was like a scam. The more you focus your life around money and stuff, the more it's your life. Back then, in 50s, 60s, 70s, consumption still had a face. People bought things that made life easier. A house was a home, not an investment strategy. A car meant freedom, not a symbol to prove our worth. A dishwasher gave us the time to sit at the table, not just a brand to flex online. Things were tools, not trophies. And when we look at our neighbors, we saw people first, not rivals in contest who own it more. Now, consumption become an identity. The phone in your pocket, the brand on your shoe, the car in your driveway, all turned into signals of worth. We compete not for survival, not for respect, but for likes, upgrades, and the illusion that one more purchase will finally make us feel complete. And you know, we don't even notice the moment it happened. So we live in a time where it's everyone in touch, but less and less people are truly together. It's not that we don't want friendship, we just to drain it to make it. By the end of the day, after selling our energy to survive, what's left? Just enough strength to scroll, not to call, to like a post, not to ask how someone's really doing. You know, I hear more and more often that it's much easier to just text someone than to make a call, because even one call costs an energy we no longer have. One ring can bring us stress we can't hide anymore. But anyway, we still like people. We still want to laugh, to sit together, share life. But our friends just drain it as we are. They are running on empty too. And we wave at each other through screens, convincing ourselves it's enough. That's why most connections today feel thin, not empty yet, but close to it. Words without presence, smiles without time. We tell ourselves we are social, but in truth, Many of us are just lonely together, side by side and still yet far away. You know why it feels fake? Because the more I look for meaning, the deeper I have to dig. And I keep asking myself again and again. As human being, is only my purpose just to be productive? How much of myself do I have to give to this life that squeezes me dry? Will I ever have the time to live? Or is my whole purpose to serve the system like a fuel, just like a machine? You know, when I try to solve these riddles, I already know the answer. The answer is like a pill. It calms you for a moment, but it never changes anything. The question is like a shot of adrenaline. It stays inside. It keeps you awake. It follows you at night when you can't sleep. And that's the strange part. Answers keep us calm, but questions keep us alive. Doubt, it's not a weakness. It's our shield. The proof we are still here. Life can take our time, our money, our energy. But if you see how it works, it no longer has an advantage over us. Most people never get that far. They leave it tired, distracted, scrolling, convinced that exhaustion is normal. But in my opinion, it's definitely not. The moment we understand why we feel this way, we stop blaming ourselves. We stop thinking like I'm weak and start realizing no, it's designed this way. And once we see that, at least we can decide not to be a victim. Here is where knowledge becomes an advantage. We begin to sort our desires into piles. The ones that truly ours, the ones we have been sold. That fun upgrade, brand new car, bigger home, that push to always achieve more. Are they our ones? Or just commercials you have memorized deep inside? So imagine the picture. If you don't own something, how much it's really worth for you? What the price? Do you really want it? Same about people. Some just drain our energy and never gave it back. But others share the same worldview, same scars, same stubborn hope. They don't sell you anything. They remind you of who you are. They are the ones who will answer your call. And maybe they are the ones who know the right answer when we don't. See through the fake doesn't grant happiness on demand. It gives you something harder and better. Orientation. Noise. It stops pretending to be direction. Keep walking. Let life play commercials for someone else. Separate hunger from the menu, the self from the costume, the truth from the voice that's solid. I'm doing that long enough, and looks like the road returns under my feet. Not the road advertised to us, the one that was waiting. Every time we notice the strings, we already pull one loose. That is how real life begins. Not with exception, but with refusal. A refusal to keep playing a role that never fit. Try to ask next question before the answer hardens. That's how reality comes back, step by step, until without any ceremony, we finally could recognize our life again, and it recognizes us. I wanna believe maybe the fakest thing of all this, the idea that we are powerless. Cheer up, we are not. If you watched this far, you already know the difference between noise and meaning. So if you want more, subscribe, like, comment, and let's keep asking. Bye.